All right, folks, we are live for another episode of You Are Not Your ROAS. You might see somebody missing. Max Blank is out doing superhero stuff right now, and he will be back for the next one. So you'll just be stuck with me. But to make up for that, I have an extra special guest, Cody Plofker, the DTC Titan, the makeup maven, the PT specialist, is here to drop bombs for us. Cody, welcome.
What's up, man? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So as always, I'm in our Austin HQ. And Cody, where does this podcast find you?
I'm in New Jersey, suburbs of New York City, just across the river, New Jersey.
Oh, fantastic. And you went to school out there, yeah?
I actually went to school in Oregon. I'm from here, so I'm from Montclair, New Jersey, but I actually went to school out in Oregon, and then was far away, just decided to move back.
Oh, I love it. What'd you study?
I studied exercise science, actually.
Oh, okay. That's where the PT stuff comes in.
Yeah,
that we'll get to. Okay, cool. So take us into that. So you got into exercise science, you got that, and then recently married, and you are business partners as well, correct?
Yeah, exactly. So when I graduated, or even when I was school, I was a strength and conditioning coach. So was really into training, really into strength and conditioning. Did that for a bit. So I started training like NFL athletes, started training like doing some combine stuff, and then just probably not the best employee, wasn't happy where I was at. So my girlfriend, or my now wife, was girlfriend at the time, is a physical therapist, decided we should start our own business because we couldn't figure out anything else better to do. And we thought it would be easy. And that was probably about 5-6 years ago. And just since then learned a ton, really got, I wanted to be a strength coach because I thought it was cool to wear gym clothes all day and work out and not do business stuff. Ironically, I actually ended up falling in love with the business stuff, didn't really care as much for training and that lifestyle. So I have a very addictive personality. So I just got hooked on marketing, and just once I learned it, because I knew so little, I just always thought that if you were good, people would come. And obviously that's important, but actually understanding how to get the word out and how to message people, and just got absolutely hooked on marketing to the point where it's like just all I've studied since then. And, Facebook ads specifically, but definitely try to be a little bit of a generalist. And that brings me to where I'm at today. I'm director of e-commerce of Jonesboro Beauty. So it's a pretty new, clean skin, cosmetics and skincare brand. It's actually a family company. So my mom is pretty well known. She's the founder of it. And they brought me on to help with,
how cool,
growing this, DTC company. We're just direct to consumer, completely self-funded, but growing really fast. We just passed our first year and well over 8 figures. So things are going pretty well so far.
Business is booming, baby. That's fantastic.
Appreciate it.
So tell me that transition so I can see the overlap. So I'm kind of an odd bird as well. I came from economics and I wanted to be an investment banker, and then got into technology and then jumped into marketing. But tell me that the S&C kind of like, so that just spilled over. How did you skill up? Or were you always kind of analytical? Or like, tell me a little about that. Because kind of, I know a lot of trainers. I was in the CrossFit world in specific for a really long time. And they're fantastic people, but they're so far from kind of, to be frank, like how skilled up you are. And how did you do it in such a short amount of time?
It's a good question. I mean, I've always, again, just been like super single track minded. So like when I was in strength and conditioning, like I would just read nonstop. I would like be on the beach reading like Russian science textbooks. Like there's definitely something wrong with me. So just kind of get super obsessive about things. And, I realized, especially, as I got older and had a business, like, it's really hard to focus on everything. And I really started liking the business stuff way more than I would have thought. And I guess it just became kind of a passion thing, and kind of became obsessed about it. So yeah, I mean, I originally kind of learned we did like a marketing class. Our business was pretty much running out of money. We had like $7,000 left in the bank. We were like, holy shit, like we got to figure out what we're doing, or like we got to close the doors. Like we'll have to put more money in. And so we spent half of that on like on a marketing for physical therapists, like class, like Con Ed course, pretty much a mastermind. And he exposed us to like Dan Kennedy. I don't know if you're familiar, like
Not particularly. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Just like all of this, like direct response, like lead gen
Okay.
stuff, like direct response
Yeah.
copywriting, and just like absolutely like blew my mind and just kind of got super hooked on it. And from there, just kind of continued just to study and nonstop, and just went further and further towards ecom, and Facebook ads definitely was kind of thing that I focused on the most. But I definitely don't think I'm the best Facebook ad buyer, but I think I try to
Sure,
be
sure.
pretty well rounded and understanding overall, psychology and how to message to people. And then also, I'm definitely not like a numbers guy at heart, but just trying to understand like the analytics and the financial side of it, I think has made a huge difference.
Yeah, I think that's kind of one of the interesting parts right now is like if you came up in like the last 4 to 6 years or so, maybe even 4 to 8 years, you really didn't even need to care about profit. You didn't even care about any of these things where like the channels were just so successful. You could use channel metrics, and now it's just like, man, it is just crazy town out there. That's so cool. Okay, kind of switching gears a little bit, maybe get to know you a little bit deeper. What's the nicest thing someone's done for you?
The nicest thing someone's done for me recently or anytime?
Anytime.
Man, that's such a hard question. My mom giving me a job.
There, hey, there you go.
Does that count? Is that a cop out?
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out, mom. Hey, hey. And then, so what's your favorite part in terms of running all these things? Like, was it because you're still part of the PT business?
We're actually in the process of selling it right now, which
Oh,
hoping to be wrapped up by now.
All
So
right.
no, I definitely not enjoying that nearly as much, because to be honest, I love the marketing, the business side, but
Yeah,
like patient care and stuff like that. It's not definitely what I feel like my calling is anymore. So
definitely.
I'm just hooked on direct to consumer. I think it's amazing. I mean, I think everything I'm wearing right now is probably from a DTC company. Like
Yeah.
everything, like I just love it, and I'm just obsessed with that.
What's one of your favorite like DTC darlings? What's one of your favorite companies out there that
I got
you
a
think is
few.
doing
So
some
I've
awesome
been a
stuff?
Magic Spoon fan for a while. Try to eat pretty healthy, but I still have like a sweet tooth. So I
That
love cereal.
branding.
So Magic Spoon, and I think the product is great. Got an
Yep.
Olipop right here. A little
Hey,
plug.
what's up, Eli?
Have one of those like almost every day after work.
Yeah, yeah,
I use Supply Razor. That's been great.
yeah.
And then I
Shout
just
out
got these
Patrick.
like Cuts pants. I was telling my
Yeah.
wife like a month ago, I was like, girls are so lucky they get to wear like, leggings to work, and also like,
Oh, for
they're
sure.
super comfy, and like, like I had some Lululemon pants that were pretty good, the ABCs, but like
Yep.
these pants, they're called the AO joggers, like legitimately feel like sweatpants, but like I can wear them to work like no problem.
Yep.
So I bought my first pair like 2 weeks ago. And I just bought the second one like a week after, because I wore them for 2 days, and I'm like, I'm wearing these like every day from now
Game
on.
over.
So
Oh,
yeah,
I'm the
those are a
same.
few of my favorites.
I have to check out Cuts. I see their ads sometimes, so I have to give them a shout out. But that's fantastic.
What
Yeah,
are some of your
Jogger.
favorites?
I like Pool Suite. So Marty Vacation Inc. does, it's like this super 80s brand, and they have just fun merch and stuff like that. Last Crumb Cookie is
Oh my
like
God,
the
those look so
super.
good. Have you had them?
Yeah, I
How
got
good
them.
are
They're
they?
insanely expensive. They're fantastic,
You got to
but
be
they
so
have
quick.
to be.
You got to be like 30 seconds, right?
I missed them like 5 times, and I finally got them. So what we're talking about, people, is this company called Last Crumb Cookie out of LA, and they make these incredible cookies. Their branding's amazing. Like everything is incredible, but they're pretty much impossible to get, and they're $140 for like 12 cookies. So it's a little spicy, but I had to try it out. I had to try it out.
They look so good. I know. I thought I was going to get
They're
them one
delicious.
time. I got like the text right as they launched, and like
I know.
honestly, 30 seconds later, it was too late.
Yep. Muddy Bites. I don't know. I'm pretty sure Muddy Bites is DTC. He might be
Yeah, I
doing
think
some
so.
wholesaler
Okay.
stuff now. But Muddy Bites is pretty strong. Native Co's, the all natural deodorants.
I use Native. Yeah. I love just
yeah.
their founding story and everything. And yeah,
So
I love
cool,
them.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's great. Yeah. Fantastic questions. All right, Cody, you made it through the main segment unfazed.
Right.
I should have known. The strength and conditioning is coming back out. The endurance is still there, my friend. Well done. Okay, so this is why people bought the ticket. This is the value add segment. So we're going to kind of go deeper into the weeds, kind of some nerdy stuff. So in specific for like Jones Beauty or for your DTC client, kind of if you were taking on a DTC client, how do you think about like deploying paid media in terms of like channel and like just kind of give us a peek into your process there?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. I think this question would be my answer would be so different a year ago, 2 years ago, right? I probably would have gotten like super tactical and talked about like messaging or like account structure or something like that. And now I feel like it's like business fundamentals first. So, there's a saying,
Love
this is
that.
actually Dan Kennedy saying, but like whoever can spend the most to acquire a customer wins. It's just like you have to make sure your business is actually set up to succeed on Facebook. And what that means is, first of all, you have the proper margins. Like your margins are actually good enough, above 75%. You don't need, I don't want to say you need LTV, but it totally helps. Excuse me. If you're a single purchase business and you don't have high LTV, you have to be profitable on first purchase. That's just going to be really, really difficult, especially if you're trying to grow and scale. So those are extremely important. And then I think also organic traffic. I think a lot of people don't talk enough about this, but understanding really what matters is not what's in your ad account. You're not your ROAS. I'll plug the show a little bit right there. What really matters is what you got at the end of the day, right? Like what your cash flow looks like at the end of the day. And so it's super important to understand two things is like your overall CAC, your blended CAC. If you have, a $100 CPA on Facebook, if you believe that, and you get 75% of your traffic paid, 25% organically, you're sitting at a $75 blended CAC. If you're at 50-50 paid to organic, which is what I think you want to be at, even without moving your paid CPA numbers at all, you're going to be at a $50 CAC. Just a lot safer. Again, it's just a lot safer. Your overall CAC is better. So you're going to just be left with better profit and more ability to grow and do so without having to worry about running out of cash.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. I was actually just watching. That's such a phenomenal answer. I love that to the moon. I was watching a really interesting YouTube video, and they were talking about nations that are. It's called the resource curse in economics, where nations that have a lot of natural resources, a lot of times don't develop very quickly. And the reason for that is basically the wealth gets concentrated. And so for me, I forgot where I was going with that, but the long and the short of it was, I just totally missed it. It'll come back to me. But understanding the economics of the business is just so huge. I've said this before, but I had a client that I brought on where he made $1 million last year in revenues and he netted a negative 22K. Like that ain't the path, dude. That is not the path. And there's just so many businesses that in a lot of ways just aren't situated for paid yet. Like they're just not ready for it. And there's ways you could still spend, right? Like you could batch it around in a little spurts here and there, do giveaways, something like that. But in terms of like paid, I'm with you. I think you need to build that ecosystem in terms of you want about 25 to 30% of revenues coming from email. You want to have that nice organic that you're talking about. And to your point, that's exactly what I look at as well, is essentially like the ecosystem performance, because if my email can start popping off, then I can scale paid more, because I know once we get people into this ecosystem, that lift, to your point, when you start to blend the metrics, you can see that lift there. It's there where it's like, oh man, paid isn't doing any better, but we're making way more money. Oh, this is great. Like, okay, cool. Well, let's turn it up. And jokingly enough, another podcast, but like what's old is new, where now it's essentially about incrementality, where it's like, okay, cool. Let's turn up paid, or we're making more money. Cool. Turn down paid, we make less money. All right, let's kind of do this, because attribution is just fucked. Like it's just, there's going to be really no way to get channel attribution again. I think the incentives are just so misaligned, where Apple wants privacy and they have their own ad network. So it's like they have zero incentive to roll anything back. If anything, they're going to go harder in the paint on it.
Exactly. Totally. I 100% agree with you. It's what's in your ad account is almost pointless. It's almost meaningless. Like you can be profitable and you could have some terrible metrics in there. And, and I always used to wonder, like, I didn't know this early in and being so new to this industry, like what's a good ROAS? And obviously you saw these screenshot numbers and it's like, what's a good? Do I need a 4? Like, do I need a 3? Like, I don't even know what good is. And it's funny because there is no good. It's completely dependent on your business finances, your risk tolerance, your what payback periods you're optimizing for. But yeah, I think that's the most important thing. Like, don't start running traffic. Don't start buying ads until you know that stuff.
Yep. I love that. I think it's so underrated, and it's so lost. I think, again, like a lot of people didn't have to worry about like the economics of the business, and it's just really, it's so essential, man. You can't just sell $20 bills for $10 and then go to your client and look like, hey, we got 5x ROAS. That's fantastic, but we're down 25% month over month in revenue.
Sure.
Like what? And so I love that. Okay, cool. So tell me kind of, what do you think some of the biggest challenges are facing DTC e-com owners right now? Like, what are the big headwinds?
I feel like I don't want to sound like probably every other guest you've had and anybody in DTC on a podcast right now, but obviously it's Facebook. Costs are up at an all-time high, and Facebook is still trying to grow. They're still trying to hit their revenue targets, and then also attribution. I mean, so it's kind of two things that people talk about is attribution, not actually knowing what's driving sales, not actually knowing how our ads are performing. And then obviously because of that data loss, reduced efficiency. So CPAs are way up for most brands. So I think that's a really important thing and a really challenging thing to figure out for most people. How are my ads actually doing? Most people don't really know anymore. I can't exactly tell you either.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the biggest issue right now as well. How do you see the landscape evolving for paid media, like in the next year or two? Do you think like people flee Facebook? Do you think people concentrate more? People lean more into organic or an email? What are your thoughts?
I think it's been so easy. It's been so cheap. I think Facebook has been so easy and underpriced this whole time. And I also think it's probably made a lot of us way worse marketers, because instead of kind of doing what the old advertising legends had to do and speak to people based off of like their stages of awareness and like market sophistication, we're just putting like DPAs up and just like bottom of funnel messaging to everybody. And it's like, Facebook, you go do the work for me. And it's like, again, like the same way that like businesses with not great economics and not good organic traffic were able to succeed because Facebook was so low, like same thing, like not great marketing was able to succeed. So it's one of those things, survival of the fittest. I think a lot of companies are going to hurt and probably be dead or just not be able to grow nearly as fast. But I think the brands that have real brands, organic traffic, LTV, subscriptions, loyal audiences, all that kind of stuff, they're going to be okay. Even if their CPAs go up, they're still going to be okay.
Yeah, I'm 100. We need more heat, as they say. We're too much in agreement. That's exactly what I think as well.
Ask me something controversial.
We need more hot takes. I think that's the exact accurate analysis as well. And again, it's kind of coming back to. I think there's just been, to your point, a market correction of like there was just a lot of the old line. Everybody looks like a genius in a bull market, exactly, where it's like anything works.
We're just in
the
bear
last
market
like 5
now.
to 7 years.
Yeah, and it's like the first bear market in like this young industry, kind of.
Since the basically the inception of the news feed, which was like the Cambrian explosion of advertising. I mean, or paid media in specific. Like, I mean, it was just it just printed money. It was just this thing that you put money in and it spit money back at you, and you just put more money in, it spit more money back.
You didn't have to have good creative. You didn't have to have LTV. You didn't have to even have good products.
That's why you didn't have to care about profit, right? You were just making so much money, it didn't matter. There's a certain point of financial thresholds where it's like cash flow is king. When you have so much cash flow coming in, you can get away with operating your business really terribly at the operational level, and you're still going to be fine. You have money. The problem is when there's a problem.
Yeah, I totally agree. No, it's so funny because it's like all these solutions to iOS is like all the stuff we should have been doing from the beginning. It's, you got to build up email list, or like we got to invest in creative, or it's like, it's all stuff we should have been doing. And I'm sure the really, really good brands have been doing the whole time, but it's like, if you haven't been doing them, it's a lot harder right now.
Absolutely. I also think there's a bit of you ever heard like the Waze effect, where like you get the rerouting. So you're trying to get around the traffic, and so Waze reroutes you into this the GPS app routes you into the new little back streets. But then everybody starts getting routed into the back streets, so now the back streets are backed up. I feel like that's kind of how Facebook is now. Like all the hacks and all the account structures and all this stuff is just like it's all been normalized to a point that it's so ineffective. Like there's no more first mover advantages. And so getting back to your point, kind of circling all the way back what we started, like knowing the business fundamentals, knowing the economics, and actually understanding like how to usher this person along this journey, and how is it going to make their life better? Why can they brag to their wife why they're so smart that they bought this? Like there's all these, it's almost like the OG era of Mad Men, right? Like it's
Exactly.
again, what
That's
is old is
back.
new, where it's like coming back to like attribution's nonsensical, so I don't care. But if I look at the bank account and look at the Shoppies, like if we're making money and I know I'm spending this much money and I'm making this much money, I can work with that. You know, it's not ideal, but at the same time, I'd rather make money and spend this much money than not make money. And so I think it's a really interesting era. And so I think there's going to be a lot of more media buyers like you that are closer to the economics than I think there was a lot of creatives that came in as media buyers, and no judgment there, but there's just not a lot of interest in kind of the P&L and actually like how this affects the business. Cause I would just go into some accounts and it's like, yeah, this is the top selling product, but why are you putting paid media behind it? It's the worst margins of all your products. Like I'm not saying you should stop selling it, but I'm saying don't put paid media behind it. Like you're going to have to pay people on top of that. And by the time this transaction nets out, you're going to lose money on it.
Yeah, but I bet the ROAS.
Do you want to scale something that lose money?
So I agree with you, but I also think there's also going to be more creative types. I think the media buyers were like media buyers have actually been like very analytical, not in terms of understanding business finances and stuff like that, but just in terms of like being able to like scale budgets and look at like the numbers in the platform and stuff like that. And it's like you said, like that was a first mover advantage when you had to like scale by actually manually bidding or like manually, you know, turning on ads and optimizing ad sets. Now that you don't have to do it, it's like, well, really, what are your levers? It's really messaging. So who can write really good copy, making creative and offers, which is like that just Mad Men style, you know, bare bones advertising. So I agree with you, but I think it's also the creative types. It's kind of those, it's skill.
Yes, I agree. I think I got conflated a little, or the messaging got conflated. Those creative types had a harder time transitioning into the numbers game. But yes, I think creative is absolutely important, and the whole life cycle understanding. And I would throw one more value out in there as strategy, because I do agree. I think the agencies, there's going to kind of be that barbell effect, and I don't think the value is going to go away from agencies per se. I just think it's going to transfer into those things that you're talking about, where it's like, we're basically going to set up big, broad campaigns, and we're going to help you out with offers. We're going to help you out with creative, and we're going to help you out with strategy. And even more so, if you can get that full stack where it's like, hey, we can run your email as well. We can run your SMS, and we can control your whole marketing ecosystem. And that way we can show the lift, because it gets weird when there's different channel owners and then you have to kind of report on your channel metrics as a whole, because you know, things, as we've discussed, get a little fuzzy.
For sure. I totally agree with you there.
How do you scale accounts when you start to win? How do you give them more money? How do you feed the beast?
So I'll just kind of start this with a few disclaimers. Again, like I don't think I'm like the most knowledgeable or sophisticated Facebook ad buyer out there. I only run one account right now. I'm on the brand side, so it's not like I have a lot of like exposure to a bunch. Excuse me. And also, like, what works for us in our company and our account might be completely different, just at different spend levels or different goals, you know? I will say though, right now, I try to go as broad as possible. That doesn't mean only broad, but I try to go as broad as possible. I try to do as little in the account as possible. So as little, I've never used a manual bid in my life. I probably should test some, but I've never used one of those. As little, moving around budgets. So I try to go CBO when I can. It seems to work pretty well in our account. I try to make the audiences as big as I can get away with, even if it means maybe not the best performance up front. I think longer term, it does a lot. And I think one thing people don't talk about a lot is like, where is your time being spent? And even if I was getting slightly better performance by having a lot of ad sets and ABO and doing a lot of things manually, that's where my time is going. I'm the director of e-commerce of a brand. I have like one intern helping me. I have like one like junior person doing copy. So like I have a lot I have to focus on besides just Facebook. And I want my time to be going where it actually matters and not chasing these little short-term hacks, you know? So I want to be spending my time on what offers are we coming out with, right? Like, what landing pages are we building? What am I doing to maximize our post-click experience? So, what offers are we driving to? Are we driving to quizzes? Are we building landing pages, articles? What bundles are we doing to improve our AOV? Because that's really how you scale an account, is bring up your allowable CPA. Because when you scale, your CPA is going to go up no matter what. If you want to keep your same efficiency, you got to make sure you're bringing up that allowable CPA by getting your AOV and your LTV up, or getting your conversion rates up. That's how you scale accounts, in my opinion, at least.
The force is strong with this one. That's pretty interesting to have all of that. It's interesting because you've kind of skipped so much in terms of your journey, but you're already at that expert level. There's this kind of interesting graph you'll see when you have this kind of acquisition of expertise, if you will. And so at the beginning, you kind of have no clue what you're doing. And then at the kind of peak, it's kind of like a bell curve. You have all the tools, right? You want to use everything. It's kind of like working out, right? Like you get to a point where it's like working out, but then at that peak, you can spend more time in the gym just looking at what piece of equipment to use versus that person that's suboptimal over there just doing push-ups or something. But you found the best piece of equipment, but you use an hour to do it, where that person already got their workout in. And then you go to the expert level, and the expert level actually prefers not to use any tools. Another analogy was climbing. So I used to be really into climbing. And as you scale up with climbing, you want every cool little belay, everything that you want. And you just have this crazy belt. And then I would go climb with my climbing partner, who was like the climbing climber, and he'd literally have like rope, gloves, and like a few belays, and that's it. And that's what he preferred because he was at that level. And so what you're the too long didn't read is what you just described is a very expert level way of looking at things. And for the kids out there, I do have an economics degree, so I'd be negligent to not say that what Cody just described so eloquently is referred to as opportunity cost.
Well, yeah, but by the way, I totally agree with you. And I think, kind of to your point, like, first of all, I don't think I know shit. I think I have so much to learn, and there's so many, people that I'm really fortunate to be able to learn from. But I think, like, luckily I've been able to take a lot from my previous career of being a strength and conditioning coach and being a local business owner, and apply those lessons, because it's the same thing in strength and conditioning, or the same thing in being a business owner, where it's like the experts are focusing on the basics, and like they're not using all the bells and whistles. That's for the novices. So that's something that I feel like is very true, and it's a really good point you make. It's really true across like all types of industries.
Yeah, that's so spot on. It's really the path. And then you'll never go wrong mastering the fundamentals. Like every single, I know really high level coders that literally search like the most basic stuff, because that's not a value driver for them. They know the syntax, they know the macro level stuff, and then just remembering things, it's pointless. Why am I going to clutter my brain with that? I'll just Google it. I absolutely love that.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, one last question before we get into rapid fire. What's one tip you would give our listeners to improve their paid media performance?
Creative is key. Use the AIDA formula. So AIDA. Most important thing is a thumb stop, right? So that's your awareness. Shoot for a 35, 30 to 40% thumb stop. Have a really, really, really good hook. Don't be afraid to be a little bizarre. Pattern interrupt, movement, good call out, really good headline. Test a bunch of it. Close up definitely works better than not, but get that thumb stop up, and a lot of things will improve from there. If you don't have a good thumb stop, it's definitely tough.
I love that. All right, Cody, strap in. You made it to the rapid fire round.
Right,
Okay, ready? All right. Overrated, underrated Facebook ads.
Underrated still.
Ooh, I love it. Still underpriced. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Dynamic creative. Overrated, underrated.
Overrated. Don't use it.
Ooh.
You want like why, or you just want short answers?
If you want to interject why, it's totally. I'm a witness in your world, baby.
Okay. Yeah. Never got the same performance from it, and now you can't see breakdown. So just build it manually.
Indian food. Overrated, underrated.
Underrated. My wife is Indian. Her mom's home cooking is amazing. It's not what they sell in stores. I wish they did. It's not all, what most people are used to, but yeah, underrated, definitely.
Underrated, another one. TikTok, overrated, underrated.
I'm obsessed, man. Underrated. That's like my guilty pleasure. I just think the content creators there are just so damn good. And like, as a not creative person, like I can't make stuff. Yeah, I don't know how to make content, but I can appreciate it when I see it. Like sometimes I'll be seeing ads on there, and I don't even realize they're an ad for 5 seconds. I'm like, I'm a marketer. I'm looking for ads. It's like they're really impressive.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. That algorithm, dude, I have to, because I have, much like yourself, an addictive personality, and I'll find myself like 30, 45 minutes, like, what the hell just happened? I just fell into this TikTok hole, and the videos are so engaging. And what's interesting to me, not to cramp your style in the rapid fire, but they're almost making a play in terms of YouTube, where I've gotten some really great like financial advice, like really good tidbits where it's not just like thirst trap kind of stuff. It's like there's actual like in certain niches like really valuable stuff in there. It's pretty interesting.
I was feeling guilty about it. I was like, man, this is just for kids. This is a waste of time. And then I was having a conversation with another marketer, and they were like, no, like they're like, when I go on Instagram, like I feel dirty after it. I feel like my self-esteem is worse. So like when I go on TikTok, like I feel better after it, you know? I was like, that's a really good point. Yeah, like
that's really
you
interesting.
laugh, like you get funny content, you get really helpful stuff, you get motivational. Yeah, there's some dumb stuff on it, but it's all about what you watch.
That's so interesting. I love that. Golf, overrated, underrated?
Underrated.
Interesting.
I played golf in college, actually.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
How fancy? What is the handicap? That's they rate you guys handicap, right?
Yeah.
How'd you shoot?
Best I was scratch.
Oh,
so like
hey, that's not bad.
I'm trying to get back into it. Got a little hip problem, so trying to get back into it.
I love it. Jet skiing, overrated, underrated?
Oh my god, did you stalk my social media or something?
I stalk all the guests,
I was gonna
say,
underrated, man. I want to jet ski so bad.
What do you prefer, a lake or ocean? Have you jet skied on a lake and jet skied on an ocean?
Lake.
Well, no, the ocean. Lake, yeah, it's way better.
Man, I am so afraid of sharks. Even just like getting in to do like some water skiing or something, or wakeboarding in the ocean. I hate it.
I love that. Okay, last overrated, underrated. LinkedIn, overrated, underrated?
So overrated. I don't go on LinkedIn. I never do. So overrated. Twitter's where
finally got it overrated out of you. I finally got overrated out of you. Yeah. Perfect. All right, favorite meal and why?
Favorite meal. I gotta go with pizza. It's just so good.
What is there a particular like style? Do you like New York style or?
I like New York style, definitely. Yeah.
Just a pepperoni.
Yeah, probably just cheese, but like pretty thin. Gotta have like a good crunch to it. Yeah.
Yeah. Simple man, simple pleasures. I love it. Favorite newsletter.
Triple Whale newsletter, of course.
There we go. Whale mail plug. Love it. Favorite place travel to and why?
Favorite place travel to and why? I went to coast of Italy recently, so like Positano, Capri for my honeymoon. Wow. So it was beautiful there. First vacation since COVID, and it was for my honeymoon. If you
How
get a
cool!
Chance, definitely do it.
That's on the list, 100%. It was. Oh wow, that's a magical area over there. Favorite way to spend your time?
I need some goddamn hobbies, especially now that I can't play golf because of my hip. I need hobbies. I say walking with my dog Parker. That's when I do my best thinking.
I love it. Favorite follow on Twitter?
Favorite follow on Twitter. Man, there's so many. That's a tough one. Who's yours? Well, I think. Who's yours?
I've been a super fan of Hey, it's Alex P. She's actually done some whale mail posts. And then Shane Rostad. He does some CRO stuff. Good dude. Yeah, he has some good stuff over there.
Man, that's such a tough one. If I'm going, especially like DTC e-commerce, I'll say Taylor Holiday. He's a super smart guy. Probably mostly NFT clever, stuff, but I've learned so much e-commerce from him. So.
Oh, I know. I totally. Damn it! I skipped over that overrated, underrated. We got to circle back. NFTs, overrated, underrated.
Short-term overrated, long-term very underrated.
I love that answer. Okay, last one for you, Cody. If you could have dinner with anyone, dead or alive, 3 people, fictional, non-fictional, who would they be?
Fictional, non-fictional, who would they be? Jay-Z.
Long-term.
Elon Musk.
Done.
Last one, man. These are some tough ones.
It's the rapid fire. Has to live up to the reputation.
Someone funny. Will Ferrell.
Beautiful. Everyone alive. No historical. I like that. Live in the present. I'm into it. Well, Cody, you made it through the whole episode unscathed. I expected nothing less. Your reputation lived up to the showing. Very impressive. You want to plug anything? Jones Road, your PT biz, selling it, anything? Follow you on Twitter?
I got nothing to plug. I'm always looking to connect, especially with people who are, on the brand side. So people who work for brands, always just love to share what's working, what's not working, how we can help each other. So definitely active on Twitter. I don't even know what my handle is. I think it's at Cody Plofker. But yeah, hit me up and check.
We'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah. Check out Jones Road Beauty.
Jones Road Beauty, and we'll put Cody's handle in the show notes. What a pro. I love this guy. Cody, thanks so much for taking your time. If you all want to get more involved in Triple Whale, we are on the Bird app at Try Triple Whale. We can also take you on the waitlist at trytriplewhale.com. And then, as Cody alluded to, if you ain't subscribed to Whale Mail, what are you doing? Get subscribed. Cody, thanks so much for taking the time, brother. We'll talk soon.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.